Hey, what's up everybody, this is Tattoo Bart and welcome back to the channel. In today's episode we got yet another really cool wireless tattoo stencil printer. This one is by Dragonhawk Mast and I think this is the first wireless stencil printer that I have had from this company. Of course we're gonna unbox it and show how this thing actually works. So let's actually dive down and get right into it. So when you receive your package you will of course get a couple of sheets of transfer paper and your printer. When you open this box up, you get a nice travel bag for your printer, your user manual, which is going to be helpful. It also comes in a Chinese version, but an English version as well, which is what I'm going to be using. You get a charger cable, which is going to be to charge your printer with, and then right here we got the printer itself, and it's all white, and you can already see that I've stained some stencil printer on, so I'm curious to see how long it's gonna take until this whole thing actually turns blue and purple. Now a little bit different as some of the other wireless stencil printers, they have like things here to click to open up your printer where you can actually feed the paper. This one you can just open up like that, and then it just looks like a very old school printer. It has two magnets here. This is what keeps the lid down, and you can open it up like so, and here is your power on button. When you press that,
Welcome to use Matt Printer.
you get a nice lady trying to talk to you, but of course in order to use this we're gonna need the app. You can put that app on your phone or on your iPad. You can also use this one on the computer. I am not gonna show that in this computer, but I will quickly show you in the user manual how to set it up. So this is if you want to use it on your PC. It got a little QR code here and a website where you can download the drivers from. You basically hook up the printer with the USB cable that's included to your computer, and install the printer how you would install any other printer, and you can then directly drive from your computer to this printer, but I think it works only wired. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna use it by the iPad. So what we need to do first is install the app, which is gonna be displayed right here. If you use it on Android, you just scan the QR code and it'll download it right away. Or if you use iOS, just search for tattoo printer. Icon looks like that. You download the app, and we're gonna do that real quick and actually connect this printer. So right here in the bottom we got the app, and you can already hear that it starts to connect to the printer. This is a previous design that I've printed. So right here you got material, which is basically some pre-made flash or designs that are in this app that you can use. Of course you can use your own designs, but you do have to save them to your images. So if you click on that button in the middle, it'll show you all the pictures that you have. Now of course once you find the design that you actually want to print, let's say we want to print this rose right here, press OK, and it's gonna load it up. You can resize it, and then right here you got the printer. Of course there's no paper in right now, but that's okay, we're gonna do that later. Now you do have this sketch function, which I want to see what happens if we put in an actual image. But here you can choose the density. You can put it matte, light. What does it say there? Tear off the bottom paper to heat the ribbon for better results. You got light, moderate, normal, strong. Now let's see how we actually need to feed our paper into this printer. If you use matte, you have to tear off that paper. I read this incorrect the first time. If you use matte, you can of course take off your paper, and take off the yellow paper on the back, and you can feed it like so with the normal paper facing up. Now I remember when I printed it, I thought this was going to be the way to print, and I used strong density and everything got stuck and it was all a big mess. But that's something I probably did wrong. Yeah, you can see here, if you use any of the other functions, you can basically keep the paper together. Of course, take off the protective layer and then place it in like so with the yellow still on the back. So we're actually gonna try to do both methods, but first I want to see what actually happens if we use that sketch. If we use, let's see, this beautiful picture of mine. Okay. Sure. And we'll use a sketch. It'll kind of automatically create some kind of stencil for you. Of course, it's gonna get way too light. But if you have any image, for example, if you do more like portraits or realistic kind of stuff, or I don't know, maybe this flower, see what happens. Take this flower, okay, we want to print that. Sure, we do sketch mode. You already get kind of some sort of stencil. Maybe we don't print that too heavy, and you have all the details and all that stuff that's already there, and you can print that copy easily. Now, I'm pretty sure that most of you guys probably want to do that by yourself. Use either your Photoshop or whatever you use to make your stencils or to make your photoshopping stuff a little bit different. I never really use it because, as you can see, I do more old school, neo-traditional kind of stuff. But yeah, it could be something that's very useful. Not something I'm gonna be using. I just make line drawings and then print them and tattoo them as we go. Now let's quickly get some stencil paper in here and see how it actually prints. Okay, so first I want to see what that matte option is all about. So we take out the protection film and we're gonna cut off the back of this paper. There's a nice edge where you can actually take that off. That's very nice because sometimes you will rip it too far and then the whole ribbon will actually fall off. Then we have to put it in like so, with the ribbon facing down. Perfect, it feeds it automatically. Okay, so this is basically for very complex patterns. So what we're gonna do is actually choose a different design that has a little bit more complex patterns. Maybe take this mandala right here. See if that's complex enough. Okay. Perfect. We're gonna go to print. We're gonna choose matte. Tear off the bottom paper for extra. Okay, we got that. And we're gonna hit print. And there we go.
Printing is complete. Please remove the paper.
Yep, I did. Okay, now let's have a look. Now I can already tell that the bottom here is not too great. I don't know what it is. It also came out very fast. I've never seen a print coming out that fast. Most of it looks fine, but then the parts here are good. But I have a feeling that that's because these are all like very close together. So it makes a nice stencil when you have like a lot of small details and that doesn't get overheated in the stenciling process. But on these things that are a little bit more open, they might have a harder time actually printing that. Now I just want to see what the difference is if I print the same design normal. Okay, now let's do the same thing. We're gonna do a strong image and we're gonna print it. So now I'm not using that matte, I'm just using a regular print. And I have it on strong, so let's compare these real quick. Now you can see it comes out a little bit slower, it makes a stronger stencil, but you can see that these dots, like these points where they connect, they get kind of overheated in some places, so they will blob up. It's not the biggest problem, but even these like tiny stuffs here, they're still pretty good. Pretty nice print. And then this one was on the matte setting, so good. I do feel like that when you use that matte setting, that it comes out really quick. It's very good if you do like very detailed stencils with a lot of lines close to each other. Maybe this is still too open. Maybe we should just test it with a regular image. So let's actually go back to something that's like a picture or something, or maybe we can use this one. Nah. We're gonna use those flowers. Okay. So we're gonna do sketch. Since we got a whole bunch of lines, I think if you print it regular now, it'll come out very messy. But we're gonna try this. All right. Okay, so we used an image, we sketched it, matte, and we're just gonna hit print.
Printing is complete. Please remove the paper.
Now it does get fairly dark, but I do think that if you like these kind of stencils, that this is probably a bit of a nicer option. Now I did make the background very dark, but yeah, honestly, I really don't know. I really don't know what that setting is for. It does come out a lot faster. You do get a lot of the details. I don't think it makes a whole lot of difference if you print images like that, but I could be wrong because again, I never really use these kind of settings. But yeah, it might be for if you like to do your stencils from actual pictures and print them directly onto your stencil instead of drawing or photoshopping a stencil out of it. It could be, but I honestly don't know. Now there is one setting that I really wanted to show you, and that's, for example, if we got this image and instead of having like an arm or something that you need a tattoo, you need to do this thing as a full back piece. Now making a stencil for a full back piece is a little bit tricky sometimes because everything needs to match up basically. Now they got something in this app right here, it's called Equal, and you can choose rows. So rows and coil is basically vertical and horizontal. So you can see now there's a line here that splits this paper in half, and you can do it like so. So it's in 4 pieces. Now, for example, if you need to do a back piece, you might need 9 pieces of your stencil. And then if you do it like that, it's all equal. So 9 copies in total. You'll go to your printer and you can see that these are all separate images that it's gonna print. And then once you print them out, you connect them back together and they are basically one big stencil. So that is something that is actually very useful. I found that very useful in the other app as well. One thing I do miss is that you can save it, because I've noticed like sometimes with these printers, if you do divide it in a couple of sections and then you want to print it and it says load paper, because you can only put in one piece of paper at a time. It asks you to load another paper and it basically stops printing the right print. On the Yilong printer that I had, it had an option to save, and it would save all these 6 images in this case individually, so you can print them one by one. It's just something that's pretty helpful and easy to to have like a backup system. Or if you print out the stencil but your client doesn't take it anymore, you finished one section and then the next time you have to use the same size of stencil to tie the pieces back together. It's a little bit nicer if you can actually save that. In this case it can't, but not the biggest problem. You just have to remember how many pieces you actually used, probably. Now, another really fun feature that you can actually use on your iPad is go to 3D mode. And you can see you got a nice 3D model right here. Now I said like you can do this one as a back piece, for example. And you can see the images right here. You drag it onto that back and you increase it. And now if you go to 3D scene, you can actually show to your client or use that image to post on your Instagram or on your Facebook or something like that. You can show like, okay, cool. If you want to get that tattoo, well, the skin color doesn't work very well, but that's all good. Let's keep it on this. You can say like, oh yeah, if you want this as your back piece, it'll look like that. You can also use AR scene, and that is kind of like, I don't know if you play Pokemon Go and you want to give your Pokemon a candy or something like that. You can follow the footsteps and it'll pop up somewhere in your living room. That's what this is as well. So you can basically make a design and take a picture of this 3D model, for example, in your shop or in your tattoo space. So you have like fun scenery to post your 3D model later on your Instagram or whatever you want to use it for. So that's a very fun feature. That's something I would use in a printer app, but you know, it's definitely cool to show off some things for your client, or if your client wants it in a certain size and you think that it will actually look better in a bigger size, you can at least show that in that 3D model, to show how it will flow a little bit better with that body or something like that. So that's a pretty fun feature. But yeah, all in all, I think this printer works absolutely amazing. So we're gonna go back up top and talk about this printer a little bit more. So that was the review of the Stencil printer by Mast Dragonhawk. It's a very good printer. It prints very nice prints, and I like the fact that it has like a tray to open. It feeds the paper very good. It feeds the paper very good, and you don't have to worry basically about your paper getting stuck or the tray getting stuck. The worst thing that can basically happen is that this thing, like the back part, maybe gets torn off. But I think even if you tear off this little lid right here, the printer would still function very good. Yeah, I don't have a lot to say actually about this printer. I mean, it prints nice stencils. I'm not 100% sure what that matte kind of function or setting is for. Now, of course, if you do know, let me know in the comments, because I would love to know where it's actually for as well. Maybe it's if you have to do very tiny, intricate patterns, like if you do a lot of geometric kind of tattoos and you need to print all these patterns super sharp onto your stencil without having everything in one big blurry mess, what often happens. So if it's for that, that's very cool. If it's to print very detailed pictures in the right way, then that's also a very nice option. But I would like to know, just let me know in the comments, because I couldn't find anything about that in the user manual either. I did find that if I print it in that setting, that it looks a little bit lighter, and especially on the edges of the paper it's a little bit lighter. But other than that, you know, it looks still like a good print. But like I said, I always like to hand draw or draw my designs, make a line drawing and print those at like a very strong setting, so I have like a nice strong and powerful stencil that'll last me for a long time. Because yeah, other things I don't really use, but I do like the fact that you get to resize and things like that. Another really cool feature is that on a lot of these wireless stencil printers, it'll mirror the image when you print something, and this one will actually have it normal. It'll print it normal. It is not a mirrored image, so especially if you do lettering and things like that, you don't have to mirror your image. You can just print it straight away. Now, of course, like I mentioned before, they made this printer all white, so I'm curious to see how long it takes before this thing turns completely blue. Now I do have to say I had some stains on there, and they do come out or come off very easily. So I think they have like sort of some sort of coating over this that makes it very easy to clean, which is also a very big pro because you want to keep everything nice and clean within your studio. And besides all that, I'm always very happy with the products that come from Dragonhawk and from Mast. I think from the beginning of my YouTube journey, they have always given me very good products to review for you guys. And I will, of course, always have a nice discount code for you guys. So make sure you check out the description underneath this video to have an extra 10% discount if you do order this printer. Now I did hear, but I don't have the details yet, is they're gonna have a big sale and you're gonna receive some gifts when you place your order. But of course I will keep you posted on that in the community tab, and I will also put it in the comments on this video if I hear anything about what this promotion is actually gonna be. So yes, if you like this video, make sure you like and subscribe to my channel, and let me know in the comments what you think of this video. Other than that, I wish you all a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next video.